So this is going to be probably the most raw video I've ever made in my entire life. I'm going to do it in one take. I don't really care, you know, if I stutter, if I fuck up. I want to be completely personal with you in this video. And it's about social media, right? For the past couple of months, literally months now, I've had this constant like tug of war, constant back and forth in my brain about social media and about basically having a presence on social media and using social media, right? Now, you guys, if you've watched my videos religiously before, you guys understand my thoughts on social media. And obviously I'm always telling you boys, you know, delete social media. It's very, very negative for you, all this kind of stuff. And that's absolutely true. One thing I must say before we go any further, this is going to be a very valuable video. I've literally, for the first time ever, got my journal out because I need to just, there's so much to tell you boys. There's so much to kind of feedback from what I've learned from this whole, fucking hell, butterfly, from this whole, I guess, hiatus, you could call it, in my mind. So yeah, bit of context. I've been off social media for the past year now. Pretty much ever since I started my YouTube channel, I deleted all other social media, so Snapchat, Instagram, Tinder. I never used TikTok or anything like that. But yeah, Snapchat, Instagram, and Tinder were the ones, I guess, the social medias that I used to use for my advantage. But obviously back then I didn't understand how negative it was for me until I deleted it. Okay, so we're gonna get straight in here with the value. The only way you realize what the positives and negatives to anything in life are is if you've gone on both extremes. Only then can you find the perfect equilibrium. Only then can you find the perfect balance, right? So I've been from a complete social media addict, you know, scrolling all the time, wasting all my time on there, to not having any social media at all and only focusing on my business. And now I found the perfect equilibrium, the perfect balance in between the two, because I can look at the situation from a complete open perspective, because I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I can look at it from a complete open perspective and take the good from it and be aware of the bad. That is the one thing I want you to take from this video, if anything else. And it's probably going to be quite a long video. I might spend literally the entire session, my phone battery before it dies, just recording this video, because I've got so much to say. If you're going to take anything from this, it's that don't ever forget balance. Balance is literally a law of the universe, the law of polarity. Everything must be balanced. Positive, negative, good and bad. Fucking summer, winter, right? Black, white, etc. There's always a polar opposite to everything in life. And I think in order to make the most out of life, you must find the equilibrium between both extremes, rather than just going on one extreme. Now, yeah, bit of context. I haven't been on any social media for a year. And obviously the last couple of months now, I don't even know the date today. I think it's April the 18th today. April the 18th, 2023. This video is going to drop sometime in May. So obviously the schedule's all over the place. But it's April the 17th, I believe, today. And I've been on social media now, back on Instagram. I'm back on Tinder. I don't use Snapchat anymore. It's too old for that shit. But and I'm gonna completely break down exactly how to use social media in the most positive way, why I'm on it again, what are the negatives to it, what are the positives to it. You know, is it really that bad? I'm going to completely, and all the other miscellaneous kind of lessons I've learned, because, bro, my journal is full of lessons. I've just been sat here for hours just writing shit down. So, yeah, for the past, like, 5-6 days now, nearly a week now, I've been back on social media. And now that I can look at it with this balanced and open mindset, because I'm completely aware of all the negatives, I'm completely aware of all the positives, I can now use it in the most productive and beneficial way. I am an extremist, right? I live my life, and maybe you can relate to this. I live my life in a very extremist way, and I have done for a long time. And I believe that extremism is caused by insecurity. Especially for these self-improvement guys, especially for anyone that's kind of like, you're on a journey of bettering yourself, you're naturally going to have a big ego. You just are. If you are on a journey of self-improvement, self-development, whatever you want to call it, you just wake up every day and you better yourself, you're going to have a massive fucking ego, because you believe that you are better than 99% of people, because most people just simply don't do what we do. So naturally you're going to have a big ego, maybe a bit of arrogance, right? And because of that, you're going to think to yourself subconsciously, if I, for whatever reason, you know, drink alcohol again, or if I use social media even though I know it's bad, then I am not the man that I am if I'm completely an extremist. Are you with me? Does this make sense? So for example, my mindset was, it was all or nothing. So if I drink, it's all or nothing. I either get absolutely smashed and I'm just a drinker, I'm a guy that drinks alcohol, or I just don't drink ever again. That was my mindset for so long. It was just this weird extremist mindset. And for brutal honesty, I've realised that the only reason I was extreme like this was because of insecurity. I thought to myself that if I went back to, I guess, the old version of myself and had a drink of alcohol or used social media, even though I know it's bad or whatever, right? I went basically back. In my brain, that was me thinking to myself, but that showcases to other people that you don't have any discipline. And the only way for me to fulfill my ego is by showing them that I never have to use these things ever again. But then I went down this rabbit hole of just only discipline, only ever being disciplined forever. And then I thought, well, what's the point in being disciplined if you never take time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? What's the point in spending months with no alcohol and just committing only to your work and getting the job done for months on end, being really, really good, if you never then get to, take a step back and enjoy what you've worked for? It's the same with like the Andrew Tate video that I made. I know this video's all over the place, but there's going to be so many gems that you can take from this. I'm just going to literally just jump from point to point to keep it exciting, to keep it fresh for you. The Andrew Tate video that I made, the balance between spirituality, taking time to sit with, with the sunshine, with nature in the present moment and just meditate and enjoy the present moment, versus this whole Andrew Tate mode, which is what I like to call it, kind of like this go, go, go mode, where you're constantly focusing on the next task, the next mission, the next goal. You have to find a balance. If I was in Andrew Tate mode forever, just constantly working, I'd never ever get to actually enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'd never get to sit there with my family members and enjoy the present moment, because I'm constantly thinking, what this next task, the next mission, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. This is why balance is so fucking important. And if you are an extremist, if you are what I used to be, where you think it's all or nothing, it's either I never use social media again or I actively use it. I can't find balance. I was never a balanced guy. When I used to drink, I used to get fucking wasted, or just no drink at all, no alcohol at all. I'm really starting to understand yin and yang, right? That's literally what life is about. It's about finding balance. And I've got a framework that you can use for any of your kind of vices, any of your bad habits, whatever you want to call them, right? Any of these kind of like dopamine, pleasurable activities. I've got a framework that you can use to keep this balanced and to keep it healthy. Because remember the goal, bro. What is your goal with self-improvement? I was speaking to my mate in the gym about this exact topic before I got back on social media. And he said to me, but yeah, what's your goal? What's your end goal with self-improvement? Is it to be a monk? And I was like, no, that's not my goal. I don't want to be a monk. Because if you think about it, where do you draw the line? How many things do you have to cut out of your life before you're satisfied and before you can fulfill your ego and say, yeah, see guys, I'm disciplined? Like, how many more times do you have to do that? Are you going to cut out everything? Everything that's slightly bad for you? Everything that gives you slightly a bit of comfort or pleasure? And that was my mindset. It was slowly getting to that point. Right, next thing. What's the next thing I can cut out? What's the next thing to help me to grow as a man? And it's like, what are you doing it for? Why are you on self-improvement? What are you actually doing it for? Because I genuinely believe there is no point in being on self-improvement and trying to better yourself if you never take time to enjoy life. And that's not, when I say have fun and enjoy it, it's not to say, oh yeah, get fucking wasted every weekend and damage your body and damage your health. It's not to be stupid. That's what I'm saying. The framework's here, which I'll tell you in a minute, that you can do this in a smart way. But what is the point? Genuinely, what's the point in me being disciplined and taking cold showers every day if I never get to enjoy a warm shower every now and then? What's the point in me never using social media again to be disciplined and to stay away from the bad parts of social media if I never use it for good, if I never use it for the positive sides of it, right? So I know this video is about social media, but there's so much we can learn from this in terms of self-improvement and your mindset in general. Extremism is very, very dangerous. It's dangerous if you have an extremist mindset of all or nothing. And believe me, I'm talking from experience, right? Balance is the, bro, and I used to always have this mindset of balance is for pussies. If you're balanced, then you're just that is genuinely just insecurity though. Because I always felt like if I was balanced, if I had a drink every now and then, if I went on social media, then I'm not as good as I could be. And then people are going to see that I'm not as disciplined as I could be. It's just all ego. It's all bullshit, bro. Balance is absolutely key. Absolutely fundamental. Okay, so be aware of, let's just use any bad habit, for example, but we'll focus on social media. But you can use this with anything. Maybe you like alcohol. Maybe your vice is takeaway or video games. We all have our own vices. We all have our different things, right? Look at your vice and ask yourself, what are the negatives and what are the positives? And if you implement the framework that I'm going to tell you in a second, you'll be able to utilize all of the positives from it and be mindful of the negatives. So for example, for social media, I'm not going on these things. I'm not drinking alcohol. I don't barely ever drink, right? Fucking plain. Let's say you were to indulge in a bad habit, like video games. I know a lot of you guys love playing video games, right? And myself included, I play them every now and then. But the main thing is to not lie to yourself. Don't say to yourself, there's nothing wrong with video games. Well, actually, it's good for your hand-eye coordination. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't lie to yourself. Yes, there are probably positives from playing video games. I've got many. I've got many that I still use to this day that I learned from playing video games, right? Same with social media. Same with drinking alcohol. Of course, there's some positives to it, right? There are good things you can take from these bad habits, whatever you want to call them. But by lying to yourself and telling yourself that there's nothing wrong with it, that's very dangerous. There is a lot wrong with social media. So I didn't come back on Instagram and Tinder and say to myself, well, there's nothing wrong with it. Well, actually, maybe I can use it for good. Like, I'm very, very aware, because I've been on both sides of the coin, both extremes. I'm very aware of what the negatives are, and I'm very aware of what I could be using them for, because I've not had it at all, right? So I've been on both sides. I'm aware of the negatives, how it affects me negatively, and I'm aware of how I can use it in a positive way. So when I'm on social media, when I click on Instagram, it is for an objective. I'm not sitting there saying to myself, yeah, there's nothing wrong with me scrolling. There is a lot wrong with that. It's a complete waste of time, first and foremost, is the biggest part of it. It's a complete waste of time. So let's start getting into the framework that I talk about. Obviously, earn your pleasures in life. If you like to have a drink of alcohol every now and then, earn this kind of stuff. If you like to go on social media and you genuinely enjoy scrolling, that gives you enjoyment, earn it. If it's just simply pleasure that you are getting from a situation, there is nothing wrong with that. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the pleasure, but earn it first. Pleasure is supposed to be a reward. It's not something that you just give yourself. This is why a lot of people become addicts. This is why a lot of people become fat, because they do not earn their vices. They don't earn their pleasurable dopamine hits, right? So for example, if I want to go on Instagram and I just purely want to scroll, there is nothing productive about it. I'm not networking with anybody. I'm not, arranging dates with girls. I'm not using it to make any money or to promote my business. I'm just simply going on there because I want to see what everyone else is doing. Every now and then, fair enough. Guess what? I've got to earn it. Whether that's be 60 push-ups before I'm allowed on it, before I'm allowed a scroll, whether that be 20 minutes of meditation before, whatever, just do something productive to earn your pleasurable activity. And you can apply this to anything, whether it's alcohol, whether it's social media, whether it's video games, whatever. I do the same with video games. I like playing video games. That gives me enjoyment. Don't just do it because you're an addict, okay? And there's a difference between addiction and genuine pleasure and genuine enjoyment. Pleasure, I feel like, is something that you have to earn. It's something that you can live without, okay? But you have to earn it. An addiction, genuinely being addicted to something, you can tell whether or not you're an addict. If you remove that convenience from your life and you cannot function, that means you are addicted. If I removed social media from your life and you couldn't talk to any girls in real life, you couldn't meet any friends, you couldn't network with any people, you couldn't socialize. If I removed that convenience, because that's what these things are, right? They're conveniences. They're trying to make your life easier, more comfortable. And discomfort equals growth. Yes, that's great. But sometimes just fucking enjoy your life. There's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy the comforts, enjoy the convenience, just like online banking, right? It's convenient, it's fucking easy. Could I survive without online banking? Absolutely. So I can enjoy the convenience of what it's made for, because I don't have to rely on it. Just a random example that popped into my head, but you get what I'm saying. Could I live without alcohol? Yes, because I've done it. I've proven to myself. Do I need alcohol to socialize, to talk to girls, to be confident, to be charismatic? No. So when I do drink alcohol, I know that I'm not an addict. I know that I'm not relying on it. I know that I don't need this substance to be the man that I want to be. Same with social media. Do I need social media to live my life? No. But I'm going to utilize it because, again, it's just the way the world works. And that's another thing that my friend in the gym said to me. He knows who he is if he's watching this video, especially this far. He said to me, again, it was the monk thing, right? Like, you don't want to be a monk, do you? That's not your end goal. And he's like, no. Well, the goal is to improve yourself, to be the kind of man that doesn't need all of these modern comforts, but then integrate yourself back into society, back into the modern world in a positive way, okay? There is no point in me bettering myself to become this kind of man that can live without all of these comforts if I just run off in the woods and don't talk to anybody and live like a monk. What's the point in that? I genuinely want to be able to integrate within society. I genuinely want to thrive within society. I find it fun, right? I like integrating and kind of mastering things. I like conquering things. I like being good at stuff. So why would I hinder my potential in the modern world by not being on social media? That is the way the world works. Yes, admittedly, it makes it very, very easy to meet girls. It makes it very, very easy to network. It makes it very, very easy to socialize, etc., to stay in contact with people. But I don't need it. Now, that's the difference between somebody that is using something for a positive or just simply for enjoyment versus an actual addict, someone that's literally just addicted to a substance. Ask yourself right now, could you live without this substance in your life, without this convenience, without this pleasure, without this whatever bad habit? Could you live without it? If you can, and you've proven that to yourself by going on one extreme and then the other, right? Like I said before, that's the only way you can find balance. You have to go from both extremes and experience both sides of the coin. If you can successfully say, yep, I can live without it, then great. Use the convenience. I can now use social media, Instagram, Tinder, these kind of things for the positive reasons that they were made for, right? And that's the thing. A lot of you guys are just abusing it because you can't live without it, because you haven't lived any other life. You've grown up with these things. So that is all that you know. You haven't had to go out there and learn how to talk to girls in real life because you've just had Tinder from the age you were 13, right? So go from one extreme, cut these things completely out of your life and make sure that you know deep down, brutally honest, that you can live without them. Once you can do that, then you can integrate yourself back into society again, right? Like I said before, integrate back into the modern world. You don't want to be a monk. That's probably not your goal. If it is, then why are you on YouTube, right? Your goal is to probably become a better version of myself, right? That's probably your goal. I want to just be a strong man for my family or something like that, right? Then that's fine. But what's the point in doing that if you never actually integrate into the modern world and use your potential for good? What's the point? I am now back on Instagram to use my potential that I've had to learn from not having Instagram, and now use it for good. Use it to spread my message. Use it to network. Use it to meet girls. I'm not going to lie to you, of course. Yeah, it's fucking easy to meet girls. It's literally recruit difficulty, bro. It's easy mode. All I have to do is post a story and then girls are DMing me. Do you know how hard it was in real life to do that? And again, you guys know that I can do it in real life because I've fucking shown you. For the past year, I've done it in nothing but real life. All the girls you see me talk about, all the girls on my YouTube shorts, thumbnails, etc. I've done it all in real life. Now, this is not to say you get complacent and you never do it ever again because, oh, I've done it once, so I never have to do it again. 80-20 rule. 80% of the times that you do these things should be in the uncomfortable, most skillful way, let's say. So 80% of the times that I'm meeting women has to be in real life, has to be in the most skillful way. 20% I can enjoy the convenience of Tinder and I can use that to my advantage. I can enjoy the convenience of Instagram and I can use that to my advantage. But it has to be a one-sided balance. When I say balance, it doesn't mean 50-50. It doesn't mean 50% of the time I'm drinking alcohol and 50% I'm not. It means 80-20. 80% of the time you are sober, you are living your life completely sober. 20% of the time you can go and enjoy a drink. You can go and get wasted and make some fucking fun, crazy memories, right? And you can genuinely enjoy it because you know you've earned it. So, now that we've got all of the miscellaneous kind of little things that I've learned here, see if there's anything else. Objective versus pleasure. This is another topic I want to talk about. This is really for social media more than anything else. What are you using social media for? When you click on Instagram, is there an objective behind it? Or are you just clicking because it feels good, because it gives you dopamine, because you feel like it's a habit and you want to click? What are you using it for? When I click on Instagram, there's an objective behind it. Now, obviously, admittedly, just like I do with YouTube, sometimes I end up scrolling. Sometimes I end up using it for pleasure rather than the objective that I set out for. Now, this is going to happen. This is why I say when you use these things, don't lie to yourself and say, yep, there's nothing wrong with it. There is something wrong with that. There is something wrong with social media. There's a lot fucking wrong with social media. I'm not sitting there thinking, this is fine, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm saying, like, bro, this is shit. I know this is all fake. I know this is bullshit. And I know that if I indulge in this too much, there's going to be negative consequences. I'm very aware of that. And because every time I say that to myself, when I use the app, it helps keep me accountable. It helps keep me disciplined. It helps keep me on track to what I'm using it for, right? Rather than just ending up scrolling, because I know it's bad. I'm not lying to myself. If I lied to myself and said, nope, there's nothing wrong with it, then I'd scroll for fucking hours and end up wasting time. I'd end up actually absorbing all the negativity from it. Yeah? So, objective versus pleasure. Make sure you've got an objective. Ask yourself before you click on it, am I doing this for pleasure or am I doing this for an objective? If it's an objective, that's fine, you can do it. If it's for pleasure, you've got to earn the pleasure, like we said before. You don't just give yourself pleasure for nothing. It's the same with eating chocolate or a takeaway or playing video games. Earn these things as just simply pleasure. Earn it. Do something productive before you allow yourself to enjoy that. Because this way you can be truly grateful for the pleasure. This way you can truly sit and just enjoy scrolling. down Instagram. You can take some inspiration from them. Rather than thinking to yourself, oh, I'm wasting time, I've got to be in the gym right now. Get all of your productive tasks out of the way and fucking earn your time, earn your pleasure, earn your relaxation, earn your chill time. Do some push-ups first, right? So also we must understand that you are in an ever-changing, evolving flow. You're not just going to be one static individual forever. So again, it comes back to the point of, what are you doing self-improvement for? What's the point in improving yourself if you just stay static, if you stay the same? If you never integrate back into the modern world and look at it from an outside perspective, that's what I feel like I'm doing, right? The social media is here, the modern world is here, and I'm outside of it. I'm outside of the matrix, whatever you want to fucking call it. And I'm looking at it from an outside perspective because I've been on both extremes. So I'm aware when I'm looking at it from this outside perspective, I'm aware of all the bad, I'm aware of all the good, I'm aware of how I can use it to my advantage, right? This is how you win at life. You have to be adaptable. You can't just sit and do the same thing over and over again and expect you to keep growing. Now, this was a problem for me because I felt like I was going against the values that I set for myself, and I felt like I was going against what worked for me in the past. What made me this confident man that I am today was the fact that I deleted social media, because it forced me to go out of my comfort zone, and the only way that I could ever socialize or talk to people or meet girls was through real life. So that forced me to become the man that you see in front of you today, right? That literally, that action alone, deleting social media, all of it, Tinder, Snapchat and Instagram was what I used to have. Now I've only got Instagram and Tinder. But deleting those back in the day was what helped me to get to the growth that I'm at today, right? So I was thinking to myself, yeah, but if I go back on it, then surely I'm just taking a step back, right? Surely I'm taking a step back to what I used to be. I'm going back to the old version of myself, the socially awkward, shy version of myself. What I realized was you are in constant evolution. If I just kept doing the thing that worked for me once for the rest of my life, then I'm going to forever just stay as that man. I'm never going to grow any higher than that. Now I feel like I'm shedding my skin. I feel like I've evolved. Gain check, by the way. I feel like I've evolved even more than my past self, because now I'm fully aware of it all. I'm not naive anymore to social media. I'm not naive to the negatives of it. I'm fully aware of the bad. I'm fully aware of the good. I'm fully aware of how I can use it to help me to grow as an individual. And believe me, it's fucking helped. This past week that I've had it, my life has never been better. And it's weird me saying that because I was saying the exact opposite before. You can see how everything's perception, man. Everything is the way that you look at things. It's very, very, like, bro, this is what I'm learning recently, man. This extremism mindset that I've had for so long is very, very dangerous. It keeps you in a box, and it keeps you in an egotistical box because you think that what you're doing makes you better than everybody else. But what you don't realize is you're actually just hindering your potential. By me not being on Instagram and social media, I'm just hindering the potential in all areas. The amount of women I could have in my life, the amount of friends I could make, the amount of network opportunities that I could make. A lot of the people that I know, like one of my closest friends I've met through the fucking internet. I met through playing video games, and I still talk to him 8 years later to this day on FaceTime. 8 years later, I still talk to this guy through the internet. If I didn't have that, I'd be hindering that relationship. I'd be hindering my potential to meet people like that. Do you understand? So be fully aware of the negatives to your vice, to your pleasure, to social media, to alcohol, whatever it is for you. Be fully aware of it. Yes, I understand how it can negatively affect me, but I also understand how I can use it for good, and make sure that 80% of the time you're using it for the positive, productive reasons, not for the negative ones. Okay? Earn your pleasure. We've gone over that. Don't lie to yourself. We've gone over that. Don't waste time. If they are essentials to complete, so if you've got productive tasks that you need to do not waste time with pleasurable activities. Don't waste time scrolling on social media if you've got videos to record, if you've got the gym to go to, etc. Like I said before, earn your pleasure. You're always constantly evolving. Ask yourself before you use these pleasurable activities, ask yourself, could I survive without the convenience? Could you survive without alcohol? If you could, great. Then you can use it for what it's meant to be used for a bit of fun, for a bit of a buzz every now and then. You can enjoy it properly. I know for a fact I don't need alcohol to do anything in my life. I don't need it to socialize, to meet girls. I don't need it to be confident. I can do it all completely. I don't need it for energy. I don't need it for none of this stuff. I can do it all completely with the power of my own mind, sober. So only because of that, only because I know that, now if I decided to drink, I know that I can just enjoy it. I'm not feeling guilty about it. I'm not feeling like, oh, you're being a pussy here. You're not being disciplined. I'm not having an ego attack from it. I can just enjoy it. I don't really like the taste, but I don't mind being drunk. It's fucking fun, right? Of course it is. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't need it, but it's fun. Every now and then, maybe I'll want to do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's special occasions. For me personally, drinking's not really a big thing for me. I don't really care. Like, I could genuinely live the rest of my life without drinking. Social media has been the constant one thing that I've always had this pullback to. And it's almost because I've known for so long how I'm just hindering myself if I don't use it. So now I'm grateful that I've actually come to this conclusion of you know what? Balance is the fucking key. This self-improvement shit, I'm going to make a lot of separate videos on this topic, but self-improvement is very, very just dangerous, bro. Once you go down the rabbit hole of, and I don't even identify as a guy that's on self-improvement. I don't say to myself, yep, I'm on self-improvement. Like, I don't say that. You guys know I don't. But, bro, getting lost in this rabbit hole of this disciplined discomfort mindset forever is very negative. I feel like you have to genuinely have balance with everything that you do in life. Everything. Rest and activity. You know, sunshine, and then not being in the sun because you might get burnt. Like, I'm trying to think of examples, you know, eating shit food and eating clean. Like, there's a balance to everything. You know what I mean? So it's literally yin and yang, bro. I might get a tattoo of that. I genuinely think the next tattoo that I'm going to get it probably on the back here. It's going to be like a yin and yang symbol, you know, the balance symbol. Because, bro, that is, I feel like I've evolved to the next level now. And now I'm using these tools for what they're supposed to be used for. Now, this is not me lying to myself. This is not me coping and saying, well, you know, there's nothing wrong with Instagram. There's a lot wrong with it. There is a lot wrong with it. And it doesn't mean that I'm now going to replace the normal way that I used to do things, of meeting girls in real life, networking in real life, meeting friends in real life. I'm not going to start replacing that with the convenience, which is Instagram. Again, 80-20 rule. 20% of the times that I meet women, friends, network, is going to be on Instagram. 80% is going to be in the real world, because I understand the benefits and understand the negatives, right? Right, let's talk about the framework. Hold on a second. The framework that I use, right, when it comes to social media, I don't even think I need to read from the journal here. All right, one thing quickly before I go into the framework is understand, because again, I felt like I was going against my values, right? I felt like I was cheating myself and going against the values that I set for myself. And I felt like if I then go and use social media, even though this whole time I've been like, no, don't use social media, never use social media ever again, because it makes you weird, it makes you socially anxious. What I felt like the biggest main problem for me, and I spoke to my mates about this, was that I felt like I was taking a step back. I felt like I was going against the values that I set for myself. And then what I realized was, values are ever changing as well. For example, if I set myself the values of be polite, be respectful, be positive, be kind to people, if these are the values that I set for myself, even that is temporary. Even that is ever changing. If I'm in a situation where somebody fucking, I don't know, hurts my siblings or something like that, right? Hurts my little brother, right? Do you think I'm going to be kind, respectful, polite, and positive? No, I'm going to fucking do his... And, bro, I'm going to spark him out, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's done. He's on the floor. That's not respectful. That's not kind. And that's basically, essentially, me going against the values that I've set for myself. Because even the values you set for yourself are ever-changing, are subjective, are situational. Now, the values that I set for myself are, right, okay, it's weird for me to kind of put this into words without sounding like it's cope. But how else am I going to evolve if I stay in the same box? I genuinely think you have to have a completely adaptable, evolving mindset forever. I don't think your mindset should ever be static. I don't think your mindset should ever be set. I think it should be constantly evolving, constantly learning new things, constantly trying new things. Never close your mind off to anything. And I mean literally anything. Have experiences. Your porn addiction, for example. The only reason that you know, or that, for example, for me, because I've been on both sides, right? I don't know about you. But for me, I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been completely addicted to porn, and I've been where I am now, where I just never ever use it. It's something that it just doesn't appeal to me. Fucking win, bro. So I've been on both sides, both extremes, again, both polarities, right? Only because of that I can understand why porn is bad. So it's only because I've had the experience of actually using porn that I understand why it's bad. Otherwise, it's like if, for example, like the parents that tell the kids, never ever drink, like these religious families that tell these kids, never ever have alcohol, never ever drink, never ever have casual sex. Some part of that teenager, let's say, in his brain, some part of him is going to wonder what it's like to drink. It's going to wonder what it's like to be a bit of a slag and hook up with loads of girls. Some part of him is going to wonder that because he's always been denied that. Whereas if you have this open mind where you don't close yourself off to anything, even if you know it could have potential negative effects, Life is all about experience. It really is all about experience, both negative and positive. That's how you learn, that's how you evolve, that's how you grow. If you've only ever had positive experiences, how are you going to know what's negative and what's not? Because your life's boring, bro. It's just baseline. You have to have experiences. It's only because I've had the experiences of drinking so fucking wildly to the point where I got alcohol poisoning. It's only because I've had that experience that I understand the negatives of alcohol. And it's only because I've been on the other extreme of no alcohol at all that I understand how my life can benefit from not having alcohol. Therefore, I can now find the perfect equilibrium between alcohol and no alcohol, right? It's only because of both experiences that I can now find balance and I can truly be the most fully formed version of myself. The version of myself that drank alcohol all the time and didn't realise the negatives was a lesser version. And the version that stayed sober forever was a lesser version. The most fully formed version of myself was the one that completely understood the situation, completely understood the experience from both sides, both positive and negative. That is the most fully formed version of myself because it's complete clarity, it's complete understanding. And I genuinely think that is what I strive towards and what in a sense, a purpose of life should be for you is understanding. Just have an understanding of life, have experience, right? Maybe you disagree on what I'm saying here. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about this this mindset and this what I've been talking about in this video, basically. Please let me know what you think. And I know it's been very, very raw, very unfiltered. If you've watched 31 minutes and 11 seconds of me just chatting shit, I'm very, very grateful for you. I really am. But I want this to be raw. I don't want to like beat around the bush. I don't want to, pull any punches. I want to make sure I'm getting everything out. That's why I brought my journal out today. I want to make sure everything is covered. Again, be open to evolution. If you're staying static, if you're never considering different viewpoints, different perspectives, different ways of living your life, you're never going to grow. You're never going to learn anything. What's the point if you never enjoy the fruits of your labor? Again, strip away all of the bullshit. Do you still win? All right. Again, that's if you strip away the crutches that you set for yourself, can you still win? If I strip away my crutches or the pleasurable vices that I have, could I still win at life? Absolutely, because my life for the past year has pretty much been that. I've been on a complete dopamine detox for the past year. That has been my life. And I was convinced that would be how I would live for the rest of my life, right? Now, me making this video isn't me saying that, now I'm going to start drinking and watching porn and doing drugs and stuff. That's not what I'm saying, right? Obviously, I've got the framework there. And obviously, I only do these vices, these bad habits, whatever, if I genuinely have 10 out of 10 enjoyment doing them. I only play video games every now and then, once a month maybe, with my mate, because I genuinely enjoy it. It's fucking fun. Stop lying to yourself and being an extremist. It is fun, of course it is. It's a laugh when you and your boy get on and you just take the piss and you absolutely shit on everyone. Even though I haven't played the game in months, I can still come on there, pistol only, just fucking shitting on everyone, bruv. Best in the game. That's fucking fun. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself every now and then. Maybe it's weed for you. Maybe you really, really enjoy smoking weed. I've never even smoked weed before. It's never appealed to me. But maybe you really, really enjoy smoking weed. That gives you 10 out of 10 enjoyment. And you can live without it. So you know it's pure enjoyment. It's not an addiction because you've proven to yourself that you can live without it. You can win at life without that crutch. You've proven that to yourself. So you can confidently say, yeah, it's not an addiction. I know that I do it because I genuinely enjoy it. Yeah? Then that's fine. Fucking smoke a bit of weed, bro. Enjoy it. But don't lie to yourself and say, there's nothing wrong with weed. Yes, there's a lot wrong with weed. But it's a plant, it's natural. Don't fucking lie to yourself. There is a lot wrong with weed. Maybe not health-wise, unless you're smoking it. But fucking productivity-wise, it makes you a lazy cunt. It makes you content with your current situation. That's something wrong with it. If your current situation is shit, and you just smoke weed to be content with it, you're never going to grow. You're never going to live a life that you truly want. That's negative. So be aware of the negatives of your vices. Therefore, you can truly enjoy it. I know when I'm scrolling down Instagram, this is not good for me, but I can truly enjoy it if that gave me enjoyment, right? Really doesn't. I genuinely feel shit scrolling down Instagram. I'm sitting there thinking, fucking hell, this is just bullshit. Doesn't even enjoy it, so I don't do it. Video games does, though. I like playing video games. That genuinely, it's fun sometimes. If I'm playing with someone, obviously it's fun. I wouldn't sit there and play by myself. Understand the negatives. It's a waste of time. I could be doing so much more with my time. Therefore, you've got to earn it then, yeah? You don't just sit there and play it because I feel like playing it. Earn that shit. You get the point, right? The only way you ever realize your weaknesses, and again, this is why you need balance. You can't just be self-improvement mode forever, 100% self-improvement, because then there's no time to ever enjoy what you are working towards. There is no point in you being this strong, confident, attractive man if you never enjoy being a strong and confident, attractive man. What's the point in building yourself up to be attractive if you never get to lie in bed with a beautiful girl and have a bit of sex? What's the point? Well, no, I'm a monk, semen retention forever. Well, what's the fucking point then? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you have to have balance. Literally, this is the one thing I want you to take from this. Fuck all the 34 minutes of bullshit. Balance, yin and yang, bro. That is the main thing I want you to take from this. It's the most important thing you can take from this. And it's what I've recently realised, and I never used to be balanced. The only way you find out your weaknesses is if you remove the crutches that are hiding those weaknesses, that are masking the weaknesses, right? The only way that I found out that, oh, I was quite socially awkward, or I had a weakness in terms of speaking to girls, cold approaching girls, was because I removed alcohol, was because I removed social media. So I removed these crutches, I removed these things that were making my life convenient, and I lived without them for a good year, for however long you want to do it. Then it started to expose my insecurities and weaknesses because I didn't have anything to hide behind. It was just me in the raw, nature of what it means to be a human being, right? So once you remove the crutches, your weaknesses are then exposed. And then what you do is you work on your weaknesses through self-improvement, through bettering yourself, Once you've worked on your weaknesses and you know that you can live without these things, only then can you actually use them for convenience to literally save you time. It saves me time going on Tinder and meeting fucking 40 girls rather than going out and cold approaching all day. Or trying to build a relationship with a girl that I met in the club. Like, it's so much easier to do that on Tinder. But I can only now use Tinder because I know that I can do it without Tinder. Does that make sense? Because I've worked on the weaknesses that Tinder would hide previously in the past. I was never good at cold approaching. And again, I don't really advise you guys do cold approaching where you go up to a girl and, can I get your number? Like, fuck all that shit. You know how I feel about that, right? Normal conversation like a normal human being. But even that, I was awkward going up to people and talking to people that I'd never met before. That was a weakness. Now, only by removing Tinder did that weakness present itself. Then I worked on it, and then I realised it's no longer a weakness anymore. It's actually been turned from a weakness into a strength. That is now something I'm good at. Now I can then use Tinder. I can now use the convenience to save me time. I can use it in a positive way with the 80-20 rule. I'm not doing Tinder 80% of the time and then going in real life 20%. It's the other way around. Still, 80% of the time I meet my girls is through the real world. And then 20%, maybe I'm on public transport and, I'm going from one destination to another. Pretty boring. We're just sat there. Cool. Load up Tinder, message some of the girls on there. Saves me a bit of time. It's like a lead. It's like a sales lead. It's a bit of an investment for my future self. Sweet. I genuinely think you are hindering yourself if you are closing yourself off to anything in life. Mindset-wise. It doesn't mean you have to do everything. But mindset-wise, don't ever close yourself off. Don't ever say, well, I'm never doing that or I'm never doing this. Like, just openly consider everything that this world has to offer. That's what it's all about, experience. Even from the worst case, which is porn. Even from shit like that. If you never had the experience of watching porn before, you would never know that it was negative in the first place. So maybe for whatever reason, if you did find out about porn later on in your life, you'd be like, oh, I wonder what that's like. Maybe I should watch a bit of porn. Then you'd start doing it then. Be grateful that you've had that experience now while you're young, because now you can truly understand why it's negative, why it has negative effects on you. Okay? Life really is all about balance, bruv. But you've got to earn your balance. That's what I like to see. Balance only if earned. I've wrote that down here, actually. Balance only if earned. You're only allowed to enjoy the fruits of your labour if you've actually worked for them. If you've stole them, you're not allowed to enjoy them, are you? Because you know you didn't work for it. You know you didn't earn it. That was just a random analogy, but I like that. See if there's anything else here. I think I've covered everything. Build the framework, then you can rely on convenience. Laugh at life. Don't take things too seriously. And embrace your evolution. Don't be ashamed of showing your past self. A big part of why I deleted my old videos was because part of me was kind of like, I didn't want to show the older videos, the ones that I first made when I literally started YouTube. I didn't want to show any of those because they were shit to my current standards. But what I should have realized was it's inspiring. People can look at that and think, well, fucking hell, he's gone from what he was then to what he is now. But again, everything's ego, isn't it? It's all ego. I think ego is a tool. Ego is something you can use. Again, balance. Everything is balance. If you were too egotistical, you were only ever egotistical and never humble, never had any humility, you'd never learn. But if you were only ever humble, you'd never be able to get anything done. Because you're like, well, no, he beat me. Oh, no, you're better than me. Like, bruv, do you know what I mean? You need a bit of ego every now and then, but you've got to keep it in check. Everything, literally every example you can think of needs balance. And if you have balance, it stops being so unhealthy for you. Fast food. This is something I've always done. I've never been an extremist with fast food. I've always actually had balance with fast food. But every now and then I'll have a really fat fucking takeaway. Like when I eat shit like this, when I have indulgent time, I go all out. Like I have a lot of fast food when I have a takeaway, right? Because it's like, well, I've worked for it. Number one, I've earned it because I know I've done some sort of grueling exercise before it or whatever, right? I've recorded like 10 videos in a row and then I can have it. So I know that I've worked for it. That's number one. But number two, that is what is made that's what these conveniences, these pleasurable activities, these bad habits, whatever you want to call them, right? They're there for you to enjoy, to have fun. Video games are there to be fun. They're not there to be addicted to. They're not there to consume your life and waste your time and stop you from making money and going to the gym. But obviously, naturally, because you don't have an understanding of your mind, because you've not been on both ends of the spectrum, you are likely getting addicted to these things. It's only when you've been addicted to it, and then when you come out the other side and you never have to use it again, can you actually find balance. These things are meant to be enjoyed. There is no point in you, unless you want to genuinely be a monk, there is no point in you going down the rabbit hole of only ever self-improvement, only ever discipline. I love having a nice, hot, fucking boiling hot shower at the end of the evening before I go and see a girl. Because every single day I take cold showers. That is balance. But again, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time I'm taking cold showers, 20% I can enjoy a nice warm one. Because I've earned it. Balance. What's the point in taking cold showers for the rest of your life if you never get to enjoy a warm one? I think you get the point, right? Really, really dwell on this, journal about this, think about this. I don't really think I need to drag this video any longer. Really, to conclude, I got a bit of personal information. Yeah, I'm back on Instagram now, so you can follow me there if you want to. Luke Spurgeon, just type that in. It'll be the first one that comes up because I'm a G. And yeah, I'm using it to network. I'm using it to meet girls. I'm not going to lie to you, of course. I'm going to use it to meet girls. It's fucking easy. It's literally easy mode. I'm using it to create content, to promote my Fiverr coaching business, which is also down in the description below. And I'm using it to stay in contact and to network. Every now and then, maybe I'll have a scroll and I'll look at other people's lives. I'm not going to lie. Of course, I might be victim to that every now and then, as long as I've earned it. I think we have to stop taking life so fucking seriously in this self-improvement space, because it's negative. It's very, very dangerous for you to have this mindset of only discipline ever, because otherwise then I'm a failure, then I'm weak. That's what I had. It was the mindset of like, if I ever have any balance in my life, if I ever take a warm shower, then I'm weak, then I'm a lesser version of myself. That is so negative, bro. That's so fucking dangerous. Because it's this constant just next mission, next growth. Before you know it, bro, you're gonna have a fucking heart attack. Or your mum might die and you'll never get to truly, you wouldn't have been able to truly appreciate the time that you spent with her, because, oh, next mission, next goal, I can never sit down and rest because, oh, I've got work. Like, you have to have balance. You have to have time where I come and sit out here and journal and sit in the sun and just meditate. Because, again, 80% of my life is work. 80% of my life is missions, goals to smash towards, right? And if it was just constant 100% goals, then I'd burn out, bruv. If I never ever took time to meditate, I'd never ever be present. I'd never get to truly enjoy what it was that I'm working on. I wake up every day with a fucking smile on my face. I love my life, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and I fucking love my life. If this was my life for the rest of my life, I'd be satisfied. But that's only because of balance. All my shit has just fell off, bro. It's so windy. I think you get the point, right? Instagram's down below in the description. Coaching's down below in the description. Journal about this. Take some time to think about this shit, because it's very important, and it's something that you're going to hit at some point in your life. It's the same with meditation and work. You know, what's the point in... Because when you meditate, it opens your brain up to, and it's like taking acid. It's like psychedelics. It's like, what's the other one? Because I don't do drugs. Mushrooms, right? It's like that kind of shit. When you take a hallucinogenic drug, psychedelic drug, whatever, and it opens your mind up to what the world's really, you know, gives you this kind of like spiritual awakening. You can have that through meditation. And I've had that. Because I've had a moment in time where I thought to myself, there's no point to all of this. Why am I working so hard? Why am I doing all of this? There's no point. I have everything that I need. And meditation, you'll realize that. You as a human being, you have everything that you need to be content, satisfied, happy, whatever you want to call it. Right now, regardless of the negativity that surrounds you, you have everything that you need with the mind. So when you meditate regularly, you'll get that realization. And then you'll start to think, well, what's the point in working? What's the point in actually doing anything? Now, the point in doing anything is so you can integrate in society. Because you don't want to be a monk, do you? You want to be successful in the modern day, in society. Now, the only way to do that is through balance. Because if you meditate forever and you're only 100% in spiritual mode, you'll realize there's no point in working, so you'll never do it. But if you're 100% in work mode, you'll never take time to appreciate the present moment. So before you know it, you'll be dead. And you never enjoyed your life. So balance is absolutely fucking key. I want to end it with this. Balance with fucking everything. 80-20 balance though, not 50-50. 80-20. It doesn't mean 50% of the time you can be a lazy fat cunt and do nothing and eat takeaway, and 50% I'm productive. Like, no, 80% of the time you're productive, 80% of the time you're working hard on your goals, you're being disciplined, you're taking cold showers, etc. 20% of the time you can enjoy a nice fat takeaway, a nice curry or something, or a nice warm shower at the end of the evening, right? That, I think, is the perfect mindset to take from this. But please just think about this. I'm not really telling you to do anything in this video. I just want you to think. I want you to just dwell on what I've said. I'm going to have some more videos about this topic coming in the next couple of days. But just think about it, okay? Take care, look after yourself. Get out in the sunshine. I'm not allowed on Instagram until I've done my work, so I'm going to go and meditate and enjoy some nice meditation time. But yeah, just look after yourself, bro. Stay safe, think about this shit, and I'll see you soon.